Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everybody. What's happening? You can see I'm by myself. Maybe I'll have a guest. I don't know. Steph is with family, and I decided to go live tonight because I didn't think that we should skip two streams in a row. So I reached out to Geekblend, and he normally would be getting off of work now, but then he messaged me about an hour ago saying that he might have to stay over at work. So I don't know, he might be just seeing me this evening unless anybody else is able to come on for the next couple of hours. But it really is what it is. It's that time of year when basically everything family related or anything else like shit happens. Like tomorrow I have to go to my brothers and sister-in-law place because we're celebrating my brother's birthday and my sister's birthday because they were both born on October 14th, and as well as my brother and sister-in-law's anniversary because they got married about 6 years ago around his birthday. So it's going to be one of those combined gatherings of sorts, but like I said, it is what it is. So we'll see. We will see. But at any rate, so basically in a nutshell, according to the gamer, Squid Game hates women. You got the Dave Chappelle, not the controversy, but like the the manufactured controversy and everything. Another retarded article from the gamer, and I saw something about Halo Reach, for season 8 of the Master Chief Collection. That if anything is going to induce eye rolls in people, and then DC Comics is of course being retarded as usual, pretty much. So without further ado, I'm going to say hello to the chat, and then I will basically go into the article starting with the Squid Game ones. Now, if you haven't seen Squid Game, this article kind of touches on minor spoilers, I believe. So if you don't want to know anything, mute or leave and come back. But I'm going to do that one first to get it out of the way, pretty much. So first off, we have Mystic Red Knight. Good day, ladies. Love the thumbnail. You, CJ, to thank for that. Rogue is one of my favorites. Squid Game was great. It was great, and not a white person in the cast. Shocker. Popular and no no white actors or actresses. Brian King, I'll let Steph know that you were dining on turtle soup, but thank you so much for showing up. Gaming or What says, well, hello there. Snyder Steppenwolf is heyo. Michael Quaid, hola heathens. Tim F, hail lovely Mara and beautiful Stephanie. Thank you so much, Tim F. Drew Deck Games, hail all, good to see you. Trey Courtney, what up? And Lethal Lighting for 10 Australian dollars. Ooh woo, buy my OnlyFans, you big head, big tits, small ass, and no dad. I think Lethal is asking everyone to subscribe to his OnlyFans account, and I'm pretty sure if he's still in the chat, he'll put the link in, and he'll be much appreciated for all the support over there. Corey Cochran, hi all. Let's see. Gaming or What with the super sticker. It was a pear blowing a kiss. Thank you so much, Gaming or What. Lisa Roberts, that's a big rabbit. Yes. Hey, Lisa. Darian Murphy, good to see you. Good evening. TD. Hey, Mara. Hey, chat. What's up? Okay, Lisa, hold on 1 second, Lethal. I see your comment right now. So let me just find you. There you go. Right. Let's see. Yellow Spider-Man, I'm happy to see you at Jade Shadow. Thank you so much, and hopefully you enjoy the show. I try not to do all cringe, but this past week was just pretty much nothing but cringe. Nothing but cringe. So, let's see. Zachariah 315, howdy y'all. Good to see you. Dave Myers, life takes priority over YouTube. Yes, it does. It does. So, hello.
Hello, how you doing? I can join in for a little bit and fill in for Steph. I don't know what. Yeah, she told me that she was away last night. So
Yeah, she said she was with family. So I think she's at her mom's house right now, and she wouldn't be able to do this. And I told her that Since it was skipped last week because I wasn't able to make it, I didn't think we should skip it 2 times in a row.
Yeah, no, fair cool, fair cool. Well, I can join in for a bit. I won't be able to stay the whole time though. I'm sorry. But
Oh no. The fact that you were able to join is fine, and like I said, we'll do the gamer article first about how Squid Game hates women, and like you are the perfect one for this because you're of the mindset that it should be all women.
yes,
In the Squid Game. So,
but before we do that, I think we need to
article.
address the fact that
Mhm.
me replacing Steph is like the perfect thing that could ever happen. Between Mara, Steph, and myself, I'm by far the best looking one, and it's not even a contest. Proceed.
They with that humble attitude, I'm going to keep going. Naymans also says hello to chat. Hello, Naymans. I played Smash Brothers this afternoon, and I got a friend request from Nayman, so I'm friends with Naymans, Kaylee, Phil, and everything. So, and you, yes, you. I'm saying this afternoon, I got a bunch of friend requests because I broke down and bought a Switch. So I'm going to have to buy a bunch of Victoria's Secret shit so my sex life doesn't take a complete nosedive.
I don't
Yeah,
think
so
I've had sex since getting.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of like it's kind like you have a scent to you whenever you buy a Switch. They can just like sense it about you that like you there's something that they is a complete turn off. So, but I will
Well,
be playing
so
Mario
lovely.
Kart on Monday, so that's why I like let people know what my Switch code was. Phil says, "Hey Jay Shadow, looking great as always. At least someone thinks I'm prettier than him. So good to see you, Phil.
No one thinks that.
No one thinks that." Maza, hey, good to see you, Maza. Or Corky, as we like to call him.
Corky.
Let's see. Oh, Batman 2022. Did you see the trailer?
I did. I thought the first trailer last year was so much better.
Mhm.
I enjoyed this one, but I gotta be real. That part where he's walking, getting shot, I thought was pretty fucking dumb.
Well, like that one, yeah, but like there were some shots like where like he's chasing the penguin.
That was the best
And
part, where it's
yeah,
upside
like
down
them,
and you see him walking.
yeah, it's
that
like
was the
slow
best part.
motion. Yeah. And where the penguin thinks he loses him, and then all of a sudden you see like burst through the flames, the like Batmobile, or what is like I guess early Batmobile. The car flips over, and then you see Batman walking towards him, and that's like basically I think the ultra shot of Batman.
Yeah,
in
no,
that
I
movie.
love that one as well. I also like the part when the guy tries to hit him with a baseball bat and he just catches it and smashes him with it.
Yeah. So I think
looks
like the
pretty fun,
fights,
this guy.
I think the fights, if anything, now I don't know exactly what the plot is going to be, but as long as like those fights are choreographed like well, I'm not saying I'm gonna be fine with it, but that's what I'm looking for. I want to look for like basically for Batman beating down the criminals.
Well,
in
I'm
those
looking
fights.
more forward to like the whole noir detective shit, but I'm very, very, very interested in the Robert Pattinson Batman. I've been interested since it was first announced. But I gotta say, Riddler looks absolutely nothing like the fucking Riddler. I'm down with Riddler being like a jigsaw type fucking Billy Jigsaw, where he's
Yeah.
just a fucking sicko. I'm down with that type of shit where you make it fucking dark and he's just murdering people and shit like that. But I'm looking at it going, I think it would look so much cooler if he had like his Riddler hat or whatever, and he's just sitting there, you know, drinking his tea, being like, you know, if you are justice, please do not like saying his riddles and shit like that, and then doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, like I can see that, and I would really love to see the Riddler, but at the same time, I'm giving it a little bit of slack just because this is supposed to be not only Batman's origin story in a sense, but the origin stories for the Rogues Gallery that we know. So this,
Hey, if by the end of the movie he comes out with like his hat or whatever,
yeah,
and he's like, yeah,
yeah,
what
that'll
up?
be. I figure like hopefully by the end, it's like okay, now he's the Riddler.
And we
basically.
saw Catwoman's costume, and it looks absolutely nothing like the first one, where she's got like just like a ski mask on and all that. She's actually got her Catwoman costume. But no, overall, I thought it was decent. I just thought the first trailer that they did last year, that one grabbed me by the throat. I'm like, yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
I'm
This
still
one
peaked.
just,
I'm
not as
still
good.
peaked. Yeah, I'm still peaked. I'm like waiting to come like see it. So, and yeah, PhD gang all the way. PhD sliders. Sir Cummingsworth the third. Lyndon calls me names. Can you beat him up for me, Lethal?
I'll beat him up for you, even if he didn't call you names.
Well, there you go. Mr. Bentham, hello. Lethal Lightning is here. Nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Bentham. Alex McCarthy, howdy, Mara and Lethal. How's y'all's day been? Still should have won Tarzan card. I voted for Alex I voted for Alex.
This is
Well,
twice the Full Aussie has been accused of corruption and voter fraud.
I
It's the
voted
hit's
for
getting
Alex
heavy.
solely because he complimented Steph.
To be fair, Alex was pretty fucking retarded, so I think he
Yeah,
should have
man.
won. I think he
Yeah.
should have won.
Let's see. French ABC, bonjour, bonjour, French ABC. Sorry, Steph's not here to say that. Jacob, hail Jade. Hope you're having a good one. I'm having a good Saturday so far. Did my Twitch stream today, playing Smash Brothers, and yeah.
I was asleep. I'm sorry.
I have to do Saturdays in the afternoon just because my evening is taken up with this. So pretty much.
Well, I don't get to bed till about 5:30 in the morning those days. So.
Saturdays, I don't like, I don't expect a lot of people to show up anyway, just because of the time I do it, or I can only do it. So, Cowman plays move when it's Steph morph into lethal. I think
When
it's up lethal or a compliment to Steph. I don't know.
when the fucking OnlyFans membership ran out.
Yes.
Can I promote my OnlyFans real quick?
What?
Can I promote my OnlyFans real quick?
Sure, but like first off, $2 super chat from Yellow Spider-Man from Steph to Lethal Lightning. What an upgrade!
This guy gets it. This guy gets it. Fuck yeah, Yellow Spider-Man. But for real, if you subscribe to my OnlyFans, you will see nudes of all your favorite streamers. I've got all of them.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Good to know. So do you want to post? Do you like DM the link to people? So if they want to subscribe to you, they just have to like DM you on Twitter or something
If they
like that?
really want to see it, they'll find it.
All right, okay. Sil, Abdul, Yo-Yo Mara, and
Hey, man.
Lethal. Hello, Sil.
I bet
Hopefully
he's got a
you-
few things to say about the last few hours.
Oh yeah, I watched DC Fandom. I didn't pay too much attention to like everything they were showing. I watched the Gotham Knights trailer. I watched.
Yeah, the Gotham Knights trailer and the Suicide Squad
Yeah.
Kill the Justice League. No gameplay.
Yeah,
Show
no
me some
gameplay.
fucking
No
gameplay.
gameplay. So, but what I did
So-
appreciate about the Suicide Squad trailer, and I was going to kind of like not yell at Steph about this, but the Suicide Squad movie, not to bring up a touchy subject with you because you hate that
I
movie.
hate that fucking
I
movie
know,
with
I
fucking
know.
passion.
Yeah, but one of my biggest gripes about that movie was how they portrayed King Shark. And in the trailer for Suicide Squad, he sounds normal. Like he's like speaking coherent English. He's trying to get a hold of Amanda Waller, and I'm like, how? Like that is King Shark. Why couldn't they do that? Why did they dumb him down to like below retard level for Suicide Squad just for laughs? Pretty much.
I thought the trailer came across as very Guardians of the Galaxy like.
I saw like the last part of it, so I didn't see the entire thing. That's when I turned on DC Fandom when I had a chance to sit down. So, Mr. Bug, hello, Mara and Lethal, I guess. Hello, Mr. Bug.
Fandom was pretty average. I didn't like how I didn't bother watching all of it. Plus, it was a bit late for me. But I really don't like how last year there was a schedule.
Oh yeah, there's no schedule.
And this
So
year there was
before-
none. They wanted you
Yeah.
to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of why I zoned in and out for like certain parts. I was kind of like zoning out, just listening for like them to say, "Oh, by the way, this is what we're talking about next." And if it's something I was interested in, then I paid attention. If not, I kind of just left it running. But yeah, Steph even DM'd me. It's like, do you know the schedule for DC Fandom? And I'm like, there's no schedule. I can't tell you. I can only tell you when it starts and ends. That's it.
You don't have an OnlyFans. Seek and you shall find.
Mhm.
It's there.
Hey, Nick McCabe. Hey there, Mara. Hello to you, Lethal. Good to see you. Hope you're both well. Thank you so much, Nick. Very much
Hello, Nick.
appreciated. And I think I said hello to everyone. Yep, I finally made it through. Okay. So let me get the Squid Game article.
Squid Game.
Yeah, on The Gamer. And The Gamer, I think, is like a top, basically trying to out-retard Polygon and Kotaku at times. So let me find it because there's
It's
like
a
two
battle
articles
of the
on it.
dribble.
Hmm?
It's a battle of the dribble.
Yeah, it pretty much
Bring a
is.
mop. Bring a mop when you go to these sites, man, because it's fucking done some dribble.
Yeah, it really is. The only thing that I've so far agreed with The Gamer this week is that the Squid Game does not need a second season. I don't think it does.
I agree with that. I'm happy to just leave it.
So they set it up for a second season, but I don't think they need it. So
Nah, I'm happy for it to just end with him walking off, and it's like, well, it's up to you. What does he do?
It's kind of like one of those. I don't know if you read the story about the Lady and the Tiger. So it's like it leaves it up to the viewer to kind of say, oh, like does he turn back around and go on the plane, or does he like fight the squid, like the people running the Squid Game? So, but here,
It's kind of weird how much Squid Game hates women.
yeah,
I thought their hatred for women was perfectly justified.
I mean, like I said, this is right up your alley, just because. Like if you were in control of the world, if you were in control of like Squid Game, it would be all women. Like all 456 of them for the contestants would be.
Oh, we'd ramp it up to 500.
Yeah, what? All 500? Okay, so all 500. Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit last night, and I think it should all be. All Squid Game participants should just be female. They don't get any money at the end.
Oh yeah. So basically, no, or was it that you either lie or you just give them 60 cents or something like that?
Oh yeah. Women are dumb and can't count, so I give them
There you
60
go.
cents and tell them it's $20 million.
Or Monopoly money. So
Yeah, Monopoly money.
okay, so basically, Kang or Kong Sai-bok is Squid Game's best character, but the show as a whole struggles to know what to do with women.
You know what? I thought she was definitely one of the better characters. Being honest, I think Squid Game did strong female characters the correct way. She was one of them. She was one of the best characters in the whole thing. So yeah, I think there's an argument to be made if she's the best one.
Yeah, like her, Gion, and Sang-woo, I think is like his name. Each one of them, to a degree, like basically has growth throughout the entire series. Like I was talking,
I'd say all of them do.
I know, I'm saying like two different degrees basically have growth. Basically, so they all do, but they have like to varying degrees essentially. But that's what I was telling people. Like, that's what I was telling Lyndon actually yesterday on his stream. Yeah,
dumb.
Because he was like, I think it was like on Lyndon's stream, saying how like the main character's an asshole and like you can't root for him. Like you're not supposed to root for him at the beginning. He is an asshole. He's like not a good character. But the point of the show is that by the time it reaches to the end of the season, like you are rooting for him. It's basically Squid Game is his epiphany into like how much of a shit person he has been, and it makes him a better person in a sense. Like not just so much because he won all the money, but because like his, I guess, moral compass shifted. It like forced his moral compass to shift, and where he's was not just focusing on himself and his gambling addiction, but humanity essentially.
Well, after going through the Squid Game, yeah, I this is a bit off topic, but still do with Squid Game. What's the name of his friend that makes it to like second place?
That's what I said. Like, this is Sang-woo,
whatever his name is. He could have won. Because do you remember when we're talking spoilers? When this chick bleeds out and dies, and the main character's banging on the door to get help. That's the perfect time for him to come up and just stab him in the back of the head, and it's over. Because she's going to bleed out, so he could have won.
He even could have won near the end when Gi-hun was like, it's like, sorry, like spoilers, people. But I did say, like, you know, they'd be touching on like slight spoilers that like even like at the last minute he could have won, but he didn't. So like deep down, he is a good person. Like basically all his decisions, or up until that point, were all out of desperation.
I think there's an argument to be made. When he screwed over his Indian friend, you're kind of like, oh, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah. So, Dominic the writer, hello. Yeah, like nothing but praise about it. You know, it's I think it's like one of those shows where you need to watch at least once. You need to get past the first 2 episodes.
I think it's worth watching. It's
yeah, but it's like very much worth watching. But yeah, so let's get into this article. So, in a strange way, Squid Game reminds me of Cyberpunk 2077. Both have women as their best characters, be they Kong Sai-bok or Judy Alvarez or Panam Palmer. I didn't really get into Cyberpunk, so I couldn't.
I returned it within a week.
Yeah. However, both also seem to harbor a deep resentment towards women, whether that's their loyalty to gender roles, their unflattering depiction of supporting female characters, the violence they exact upon women, which goes beyond that which is exacted upon men, or the ways they are deemed unnecessary to the wider story, even as they drive the plot. Squid Game is a fantastic show, one of 2021's best, but the ways it treats women are very odd. Did you even watch the show?
Yeah, I think the dudes kind of get fucked up a bit more than any of the females do.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, for one thing, like, there are a lot more men than there are the females. So, like, there's an argument to be made that men were the bigger screw-ups.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. They could argue that then, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think of all the most brutal deaths, I mean, hers was she kind of just bleeds out.
It was one of those,
kind of
like,
goes out pretty peacefully compared to everyone else.
Well, yeah, like,
She
everyone else.
gets a shanking, but
yeah. So, hello, Ms. Martin Muses. Hopefully you enjoy D&D tomorrow, because I'm not going to be able to play. Brightest Day, hello. Good to see you. Hound 3000. Wolf, Arf, and Bark. And Spartan Slash Sentries. Hail, Mara, and Lightning. Thank you so much.
g'day.
Sunny and Brave Megatron. Hey there. Good to see you. He joins me for Splitgate on Tuesdays, and he's the king of teabagging in that game. Sinister Looking Kid. Everyone dies except for one character, women most affected. Yes, pretty much. And most of them are men who die, so... All right, so basically, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, if you don't want to know anything, tune out and then come back in, because this touches on spoilers. At one point in the show, the characters are ordered to get into teams. Immediately, everyone has the same idea. We need men. That's the tug of war game. And let's be honest, your first thought whenever you're playing tug of war is to get a strong person or people on your team.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, women, we're not as naturally strong as men.
They even say in the episode, he looks at his team and he's like, fuck.
Yeah. Yes. So I was like, I'm sorry, we're not naturally as strong as men. I don't care if Abby is the poster child for like how buff women can get. That, like, other than steroids and a bunch of testosterone pumped into us, we're not going to have that. So
tug of war with Abby and Heather Swanson on the other team to balance it out.
Yes, it does.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull that rope.
Okay, so the unflinching desire to bring men and only men aboard their teams makes the Squid Game players look like AAA studio executives, with the women being discarded as a possibility almost instantly because, yes, it's tug of war. It's the tug of war part. She's like conveniently excluding that part in this article. Conveniently excluding that part. This is a life or death game where one wrong choice means a bullet in the head. There's no time for political correctness. Men are traditionally physically stronger than women. Yeah, no shit. That's true. But these are children's games. Physical strength is not an advantage. No.
I mean, the old man makes his point where he's like, if you know what you're doing in tug of war, like if you're strategic, you can find a way around it. But I would argue that if you had the old man's team, where he has his full strategy, and on the other team, you just have like a bunch of like Mr. Olympians and they're all just going brute strength. Yeah. I think they'd still fucking rip that rope out of your hand.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, these are children's games, but these are adults playing, and you have to basically balance the physics of natural strength in men versus basically strategic planning, where it's like, yeah, I could see like the strategy of the old guy could work. It could conceivably work. However, it's like with judo, basically. It's like no matter like how agile you are, someone who outweighs you, even untrained, will knock you the fuck out if you're not careful. So basically, brute strength does have its advantages. So there's no way you can definitively say that it is not an advantage, basically. It can be or it can't be. It depends on the situation.
In tug of war, I'd say it's an absolute huge advantage.
It is like a huge advantage. I'm saying depending on the situation. So
in tug of war, though. But...
Yeah, I'm saying like depend tug of war, whatever. You can't definitively say it is not an advantage.
Okay, well, all right. Just hypothetically, let's say you're there. You have a choice between going on the old man's team, who's got his whole strategy and plot, or you can go on the Mr. Olympian team.
I would generally go on the Mr. Olympian team, basically. Yeah. So. I like that, like, perfectly honest. Like, I do know that there are some things I'm taught in judo where I could see the strategy of the old man's. angle, but yeah. Most often you would go on the Olympian team if you saw them. So it's strange in a series that is so clever and layered in its critique of capitalism that the men spend a good chunk of time patting each other on the back and attempting to team up with more men, only for the show to prove them completely correct. This game does require men. Men are the best. Who's out? They're also the biggest screw ups because most of them are men. Most of them are men in debt. So I'm like,
Critique of capitalism.
What?
Critique of capitalism.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I didn't click on that hyperlink, but I'm guessing it's to the other gamer article where it says, like, the title is "Squid Game teaches us it's okay to like kill the rich" or something like that.
Jesus Christ. People just can't sit down and fucking watch a show about going, what's the angle? What angle are they trying to get me with? Whoa, what the fuck is this? Is this pro or anti-capitalism? Why can't people just fucking sit down, chill out, watch a show and go, that was pretty entertaining?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I used to be able to like do that when I was a kid. I still want to do it now, but nowadays it's like, okay, what agenda is it catering to that I believe in? And if it doesn't cater to anything that I believe in, then like automatically it's bad.
If you go in looking for something, you'll find it anywhere.
Yeah. So hey, Bobby, like 15 days till Halloween. Yep. Here you go, Lethal.
Where's the lie?
Yeah.
Oh, he's back to Stunning and Brave.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even notice that. I thought he was still Uncle Megatron.
Nope.
Uncle Megatron.
Mazza says he wishes the show had PhD. I'm thinking some of them would have won if they had PhD. So
PhD's OP. You can't put it in a game like Squid Game. It's not fair.
It's not just in the reliance on physical strength that Squid Game puts on a weird lens on gender rules either. The aforementioned game where the search for men proves to be the correct one is Tug of War. Now they bring it up. In it, player one, a weak and elderly man, is the one who comes up with the strategy. Later episodes provide greater context as to why one is such a valuable player, but the fact remains that even in a game where women are maligned for being weak, the weakest man still has value. Because, okay, yeah, the old man's strategy worked for the most parts, but if this person was actually watching the show, she would have noted that the strategy started failing at one point because the other team, the stronger, the one of all men, was started pulling the one with the old man and the women on it. And it was only Sang-woo who had to come up with like the quick, on the spot way to unbalance the other team. And once they got the other team unbalanced, that's how they won. If Sang-woo hadn't done what he done, their team
they're dead.
Yeah, they were dead, basically. So I'm saying, like, this writer is conveniently overlooking a lot of details when writing this. But then again, I'm not surprised because it's the gamer and they don't think when they were like writing this shit.
Look, a lot of these bitches that write these retarded things are straight up dick deprived.
Oh, pretty much are. Pretty much are. Oh, like if you want to like watch a video of like a woman who is definitely dick deprived, watch a video that I saw on Twitter where this woman is actually going from house to house in her neighborhood, harassing her neighbors because they're not pro BLM or things like that. Oh. So yeah, that woman, when you hear her, like she's definitely dick deprived. So Spike in Madness just finished watching Squid Game. It had nothing to do with capitalism. It was a demonstration of the pursuit of money being the root of all evil. Hello, Mara and Lethal Lightning. Good to see you, Spike in
I
Madness.
would agree that's more what it is. It's more how far would you go?
Yeah, basically it's a study in human behavior. It's like it's kind of like how do I put this? Like basically bring in psychology, like Freudian's
Oh, I forgot you're a psychologist.
The id, the ego, and the super ego. Basically, the super ego controls your like morals, like right and wrong, things like that. It stops you from doing shit basically that's like illegal. But the id is the primitive side. That's the side that's like Dr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So basically, if you're looking at this from a psychological perspective, it would be like how far, like how much are you willing to let the id subconscious control your behavior, like whether out of desperation, greed, or so forth, in pursuit of basically riches or whatever the prize is. Like, are you going to maintain your humanity, basically, like your sense of right and wrong, things like that, or are you gonna let just like basically brute primitive nature take over? And like you're watching this in the different contestants and what they choose to do, like who they choose to kind of align themselves with, betray, and so forth. Out of the possibility that their debts could be paid off and they could live a relatively easy life going forward. So, and each one has different motivations as to why they want to win. So,
Nah, men bad.
yeah. I love when Jade explains shit I don't understand still, but it sounds good.
Yeah, I forgot you were a psychologist. I forgot about that. Can you shrink my brain right now live?
Depends on what you want me to analyze.
General overview.
General overview. Let's
Do you have to
see.
like ask like a few basic questions?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'm
All right,
not
let's go.
really
Let's
a
do it live.
psychologist. I'm not really a psychologist, but based on your behavior, you have basically you're leaning back, which means like basically you're relatively relaxed, like you're not in a stressful situation, but you're kind of like leaning to your left, so that way like you're not entirely relaxed. Let's see. Whenever you speak, you're like you have like basically inflection to your voice, so you're rather animated, which tells me that you are a person of how do I put this?
Color.
A colorful individual, pretty
That's
much.
not what I was getting at. I was trying to say. All right, go on. I was trying to make a joke. I identify as a black guy.
Yeah, but you are a colorful individual. You are a colorful individual. You're willing to help those around you, but you don't let people walk all over you. So, but without asking you questions and things like that, I'm only going off of what I know about you. But yes, Trey is like that. When like, you're a person, and you said color. I mean, technically, it's true. We are all people of color. So,
if Trey says that I can identify as a black guy, I'm going to tell people I'm a black guy on Twitter. Just get some reactions out of them.
There you go.
We're not. How dare you? How dare you?
I don't think there's any helping Lyndon. Pretty much, once you go furry, you're too far gone.
Yeah. Lyndon needs to be rolled up in a carpet.
Yeah, I one of my classes was it wasn't entirely in body language, but it did touch on like reading people and like what certain position, like how they have their bodies. Is that one way of putting it? Tells you like what their personality. So, do lethal I allow it.
I need to get a bunch of black people to back me up on it.
Yes.
So when someone goes off at me going, you're white, I just have like a whole swarm of black people come into the comments and just be like, how fucking dare you?
There you go. I mean, we're like Trey.
I identify as a black dude.
Damaj and Abu Nas. I mean, come on. Like you tell them like, hey, like I identify as a black man, they'll have your back. So
just to start shit in Twitter, just to cause a fucking meltdown. It'd be so worth it.
It's not just in the reliance on physical strength that Squid Game puts a weird lens on gender roles. Okay, I read that. Sorry. Meanwhile, it's Song Woo's strategy that eventually wins the game, which is why I said a strategy Han Mi Neo, one of the women on the team, is initially too scared to follow through with. Well, yeah, because you're going towards the edge, and he tells you to take 3 steps towards the edge. So it's like, yeah, you're a little too scared to do that. So who cares? Like, I don't. I need to get alcohol for these articles. Han Mi Neo is an especially interesting character here. It should be noted that native Korean speakers have criticized the English subs and dubs of Squid Game, particularly around the context of her arc. If that's true, we can take much of this article.
Did you watch this subbed or dubbed?
Subbed.
I watched it both. I started the first few episodes dub, and it is fucking bad.
Okay.
It is a really, really, really bad dub. So I kind of agree with them there.
So yeah, that's what some of my classmates on Wednesday were saying of like the criticisms for the translations for the show. So
Oh, I am really sad.
I don't. I
Everything
mean,
is monotone. I show no emotion. Oh no, my best friend just died. Well, however will I go on? I guess it's time to go on.
oh, that
It was
really
really bad,
sounds
that
fucking
dub.
horrible. Okay, if that's true, we can take much of this article as a criticism of the subs and dubs, although many other incidents still remain. Han Mi-Neo is portrayed as a street-smart character. She helps Sae-byeok explore the events and sneakily uses her lighter to win at sugar pancakes. But
Yep.
she's also cloying and defined by her sexual impulses. She teams up with the villainous Jang Dok-soo after sleeping with him, only to be discarded when he has no use for her.
Well, she uses sex because dudes are horny.
Yeah.
She uses sex to keep herself alive and play the part, kind of smart
Mhm.
from her point of view. And the dude from the other end is also playing the part as well. It's a death game. Everyone's playing each other.
Yeah, and she's actually surprised that she was discarded after there's a part in the show where it's complete mayhem where they're sleeping because they're all killing each other because they're like, hey, let's take them out here rather than wait for the games, and we're basically increase our chances by taking out as many people as possible. So she's seeing that he's willing to do this shit. He's not a good person. So the fact that he discards her shouldn't have come as a complete surprise.
Yeah, he screws over everyone every
Yeah.
chance he gets to keep himself alive, even right up until the very end where he's like on the glass ceiling game. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not going. He turns around and says, you go ahead of me, because he wants them to fall through, so he knows what path to take. Like that, he looks out for number one. That's his philosophy, and he has done that for the entirety of the game. But I did like that scene because it was very poetic. What
But
happened?
if you trust someone who has a snake tattooed on their jaw, you're a fucking retard, and you kind of deserve to walk on that glass ceiling.
Yeah, pretty much does. 99-cent super sticker from Ms. Martin Mises. It is a rose, of course. Thank you so much, Teresa. She is we play D&D together. She is the thief, I'm the temptress, and we're part of the Thieves Guild, and we had a very interesting
Does she
session.
talk about me?
What?
Does she talk about me?
No. Okay. She begs him for salvation, and even though she eventually kills him, it's in a murder-suicide that indelibly ties her to a man she slept with once. For all Mi-Neo's street smart, she's often portrayed as naive, foolish, and pathetic. Well, I kind of
So
saw
he dicked her good?
Yes, I kind of saw that those deaths as poetic, basically, as very poetic and how they both went out, space. So I don't know. I mean, I knew that they weren't going to make it to the end, but I didn't know how. And then when it happened, I was like, okay, that's very fitting. Temptress, yeah, fitting. Yeah, I'm a Temptress, and Stieg will tell you that I am probably the most R-rated of the group, shall we say.
Ridiculous, retarded.
What?
Ridiculous, retarded.
No, dirty.
With an R.
Never mind.
An R word for dirty.
R-rated.
R-rated. Oh.
Oh. Okay. There's another major incident of casual misogyny
Fuck yeah, the best kind.
the show throws out, which goes by so fast that many viewers may have missed it.
Probably
Probably
not.
because it's not even fucking there. A subplot in the series involves police officer Hwang Jun-ho infiltrating the game as one of the guards. He questions another guard, suspecting one of the bodies recently disposed of belonging to his brother. The terrified guard tells him it can't have been his brother because it was a woman. The proof? The guards all gang raped the corpse, and they surely wouldn't do that to a man, right? Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on their sexual proclivities.
Wait, are they saying dudes can't get raped?
Yeah, they're saying that. Obviously, it can't be a man.
Dudes can't get raped.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, it's like you're not supposed to like go, oh, well, that's casual massaging. No, they're supposed to go to them like, you are fucking sick, because basically she was dead when they did it. So it's like you're like basically you're supposed to think that they're fucking sick, not like oh like it was a woman, so obviously like it wouldn't be a man. So I'm like,
I don't understand how these people interpret something sometimes. Sometimes I read how like they interpret a few of these things, and it's like, get help, seriously, get help. Either you're fucking lying or you really need help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like one of those words. I like when they drop words like casual misogyny, as if like there's like any difference. Like there's like a spectrum of misogyny, basically.
A spectrum of misogyny. Look, all misogyny is good.
There you go. I mean,
hey, I had a question for our friend Ryan. I had a question for him, and he wasn't able to answer me. It's a bit of a conundrum. We all agree, misogyny good, treat women like trash, blah blah blah. We all agree with that. But what happens when she likes being treated like trash? What do I do then?
I mean, well, it depends on.
Now that's casual misogyny.
Yeah, and that very much is casual misogyny, because it all depends on what is getting you off about the misogyny itself. Is it her reaction, or just
my general?
Well, then, like, I don't think it should make much difference if she likes it or not. Essentially,
I don't want her to be happy.
What?
I don't want women to be happy.
Well, then it does make a difference, because like that's what I was saying. It all depends on what you get off on, and if it's the negative reaction.
It's not about getting off. It's
no, I'm saying like if it's her being unhappy, then that's the reason like why you do it, essentially. But if she's happy, then it doesn't make a difference, because you don't want that, so you move on to another woman. So it's her reaction that's really deciding whether or not you stay.
It just comes down to a general sense of, I think women should not be allowed to drive. See, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum. I'm going to have to get together with a few people and go over all our notes.
As long as it's not Lyndon and Rhino. So.
No, I need some actual proper casual misogynists.
There you go.
Casual misogyny. That's a good saying. Fuck yeah, I like that. Casual misogyny.
There you go. Okay, so this line goes by almost entirely without interrogation, and the whole idea that several of the guards are raping the dead and dying women of the game is never addressed again. Less damning minor instances include the fact that first contestants to fall to their knees and tearfully beg for mercy are women. Well, I'm sorry, women are more emotional. I'm fucking sorry. We are.
Everyone does it in the show.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like did this person watch the fucking show? After the first game, they literally saw people get shot for moving during red light, green light. That's the elimination, basically. It's not like, oh, you're eliminated, like you don't move on. Thank you for playing. Goodbye, essentially. You're fucking killed. That's you being eliminated. So, and they saw how many? From 456 down to what, like 300 something, like over 100.
Yeah,
like
quite
a
a
good
few
chunk.
in the first.
Yeah, in the first episode. So yeah, most people's reactions, and that would include the women, will be begging, "Hey, like we want to live. Let us go." And there were some men who were on their knees, like you just pointed out, begging to be let go. And they put it to a vote. And the majority that were men also voted to leave. So it wasn't just women being emotional.
Yeah, everyone wanted out.
Yeah.
Well, over 50%.
Well, over 50%, and because it was like in the second episode that they were going to come back, because you had 7 more to go, essentially, to follow these people. But at the same time, it's like, again, majority of it was men. So
fucking retards.
Then we come back to Kang Sai-bak as the show's best character. You'd think she could be held up as evidence against the idea that Squid Game has some odd issues with women. Certainly in episode 6, Gangbu, we see Sai-bak. I'm butchering these names. treated with respect. It's the only essential episode of television I've seen in 2021, and she plus her teammate in this episode, Ji Young, are most of the reason why. Because they kind of connect on a deeper level, and that was the sad episode because you know that one of them was going to die.
Yeah.
So while the men try to outwit each other and send the other to their doom, the women just talk. In some ways, it's another example of gender roles taken to extremes, but it's so tender and heartfelt that it never feels that way. Then why are you fucking complaining?
This is going to ask them, why are you complaining?
We see two girls isolated in the real world and within the Squid Game bonding before oblivion. When Jung, an orphan who murdered her father after he murdered her mother, learns Saibok is playing the game to save her brother, she offers her life willingly. It's beautiful and heartbreaking, especially when surrounded by men competing, meddling, and fighting with each other to cling to survival. Because Ji Young says, you asked me like what I would do if I won, and like I came up with nothing. You have a reason to live. So she gave her life for this person she just met. It's supposed to be, like you said, heartfelt and tender, and yet you're complaining. If anything, again, it shows that the men are assholes. So that should be ideal for you. So why are you complaining? Oh, but like the gender roles. I forgot.
Gender roles. Casual misogyny.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Saibok is not offered a glorious ending. She, along with male characters Sang-woo and Gi-hoon.
None of them have glorious endings. It's a death game.
Yes, it's a death game, and even Gi-hoon, for a year after he wins, goes back, reverts to his original life. Like he doesn't even touch the money for a year because he is so fucking depressed and changed after the Squid Games that it takes a chance meeting with someone that he knows, and I don't want to say why. Again, without going into entirely major spoilers, that he actually what was I going to say? Wakes up. Like he won't even touch the money. He actually bums 10,000 won off the banker.
Yeah.
When this guy has like hundreds of millions.
Fucking hell.
So, hey, Kaylee.
Oh, hello.
That episode passed the Bechdel test. Okay. However, rather than fighting to the end in the grand battle, Saibok is killed off before the final game in her bed. Already wounded from the last game, she is neatly disposed of in order to facilitate the final showdown between Sang-woo and Gi-hoon. She is no longer needed and therefore no longer deserving of any character development. Well, okay, to be fair, she was dying. And yes,
she was going to die no matter what. That's what I was saying before. He should have killed the other guy.
Yeah.
And then he would have won.
Yeah. And he chose not to. He chose just to, I mean, however you feel about, like, you know, the incident itself, yeah, it kind of sucks. But in a way, she was dying anyway, and he kind of put her out of pain.
Ah, it was a mercy killing.
Yeah, mercy killing. So, I mean...
Now that's casual misogyny.
Subhuman, whoa, Steph looked different. Did she get a sex change?
Yeah. Yeah. Steph has a huge dick now, and she's coming for your bitch.
There you go. Okay. Squid Game is a phenomenal television series, and through Ji Young, Min Yo, and especially Saibok, it has some fascinating female characters, but it's incredibly odd that it's so dismissive of them, even more so that for all its popularity, nobody seems to be talking about it, because it's not a fucking issue. So yeah, there it is. That Squid Game hates women.
Well, Squid Game just got even better, if that was true.
There you go. I mean, like I'm saying, like, you know, like I said earlier, there could be like an argument to be said that the fact that there were more men than women in this group tells you that more men are bigger fuck ups than women.
But no, men bad, bad, penis bad.
Yeah,
I bet you, if she got laid the night before she wrote this, she wouldn't have hit publish.
Yeah. Steph also had a race swap. She identifies as an Aussie now. So
no, she's a black guy now.
Yeah, there you go. See, because that's all that matters, and you have Trey's permission to do so. So, but yeah, so there's the that article, and Yeah, I decided to go with that because it was just so fucking retarded. And there's another one from the gamer too that's just as retarded. Because they
God.
again conveniently overlooked critical details whenever they're writing an article about what happened in the aftermath of Dave Chappelle's
The Dave
pro-
Chappelle situation is fucking
situation.
brilliant.
So,
It
but yeah,
is
so
fucking brilliant.
yeah, so I know you said you couldn't stay on for long. I'll be going for like another hour and 10 minutes, roughly, depending on how long it takes to go through articles. So, but thank you for
Yeah,
jumping
no
in and
worries.
subbing for
Covering
Steph.
for Steph. Yeah, yeah. I assume Steph will be back next week.
Mhm.
So next week's not going to be as good. All right.
There
See
you
you.
go.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thanks
Bye
for
bye.
having me, Mara. Much love, everyone. And
You're welcome.
always remember, casual misogyny good.
There you go. So, but yes. So thank you again to Lethal Lightning. And hold on one second. Yeah. So again, like I said at the beginning, just touched on spoilers. Maybe at some point, if anybody's interested, I and others might do a stream discussing the entirety of the series because, like, on the surface, it is basically about, basically surviving, deadly children's games, essentially, pretty much. But like below the surface, it's a study of human nature, and that's what I enjoyed about the show, especially following the second episode. And people's decisions and motivations driving them back to risking their lives for all this money. Like, what's driving their decision to risk their lives, like literally risk their lives for it one chance in 450, like 56 people of getting like hundreds of millions of won. That's like the denomination of money for in South Korea. I'm not sure exactly how that the exchange rate is for US dollars and so forth, but figure, hey, even if it's like a fraction of that, I would take it. I think I would risk it. But then, yeah, like you dive into human nature. So there's that. Basically, there's that. So again, I started with one retarded article from the gamer. So let's go into another one. Let's go into another retarded article. So I gotta find that. And it's conveniently closer to the top. Because this one is like a slightly older one. It's about a week old. So come on, go back. And this is an article I would have covered earlier in the week, but I didn't want to because like not everyone had seen the show, and I didn't want to risk talking about like major things that were happening. So, but I figure it's been a week; most people probably have seen it by now, and so hopefully didn't spoil too much for anybody. Retards and articles. So there you go, and I got another one. Sounds like Gladiators in Rome. Pretty fucking much. So, like, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? So here, I'm starting with this article. If you hate cancel culture, you should be outraged Netflix suspended the trans employees who criticized Dave Chappelle. Why were they suspended? Well, let's go into this. I'm sure the free speech defenders will be here any second now. Yeah, it's called free speech for a reason. Yeah, I've seen The Running Man. Yeah, I've seen it. So here you go. Here you go, people. Conversations like this tend to be driven by emotion, so let's deal with some facts. Dave Chappelle recently launched a Netflix special in which he has been accused of making transphobic jokes. Several trans employees at Netflix tweeted their displeasure at this and were subsequently suspended officially for attempting to attend an online meeting they were not invited to. In the business world, employers don't like employees forcing their way in where they're not invited. So the fact that they were suspended when they attempted to attend a meeting, it could have been an official with higher ups that with information they are not fucking privy to, where they were trying to force their way in, yeah, they're gonna get suspended. When you get fired fucking up, they didn't get canceled, and they broke a non-disclosure agreement because there was an employee that just came out was fired because they leaked sensitive private information. But because we're anti-cancel culture, we should be upset at the fact that these people were suspended because they were trans, and that's the only reason why. Never mind that they did stupid shit to get themselves suspended. Doesn't fucking matter if they're trans or not. Anybody who's been at all in the private sector knows you don't do this shit. I would want this Stacey Henley to try that shit and see if she still has a job. Chappelle has long claimed to be a victim of cancel culture despite the fact he's still popular and successful. You can still be a victim of cancel culture because you can still have the outrage mob come for you and still be popular and successful because of the fact that you fight back against the weirdos in the cancel culture mob. So yes, that is a possibility. It does not mean that cancel culture does not exist. These trans employees have been shut down and suspended from work because of views they expressed. No, it was because they tried to do shit that you're not supposed to do. And actually do shit that you're not supposed to do. If you hate cancel culture, you should be outraged by Netflix. No, if I were running Netflix and they tried that shit with me, they would get suspended. Hold on 1 second. I gotta answer a text. My mom has perfect fucking timing. Thank you, Mom. Katsuka 92. Hola, everyone. Good to see you. You do something wrong at your job, you get fired. Yep. You do something wrong at your job, you do something you're not supposed to do, you're lucky if you just get suspended. In the private sector, this shit happens. It does not matter the sexuality, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what you identify as. It doesn't matter. Now on to the emotions of the issue, because of course, far too many of you will not be outraged by this, because it's all about how we feel, not because of the facts of the situation. Those who ardently speak up against cancel culture and in favor of free speech typically mean I want to say unpleasant things without consequences. No, which just means you should be allowed to say them and face the consequences if necessary. That's what the meaning of free speech. That is the meaning of free speech. It does not mean that they will be without consequence, necessarily. And it also means that it's up to the other people who are hearing this to determine whether or not they're going to be offended or not. Because, again, they treat groups like monoliths. The real transphobes are trans people. Dave told a story of his trans friend, Daphne Dworman. She agreed with Dave, saying gender is a fact. She got dragged on Twitter by the trans community and she ended up killing herself. Fucking hell. Yeah, they basically did shit they weren't supposed to do. Yeah. But the fact that they're trans and the person, the writer, and I say very loosely the writer, is omitting these facts, tells you it's not a matter of anything in this reality. It all matters is how you feel. And she wants to show I'm an ally of the trans community. Therefore, I'm going to stand with them and be outraged that they were suspended just because they were trans. No, that's not it. They fucked up. They fucked up. How dare you, Mara, to use facts and logic in your arguments? Feelings is the only important thing, yeah, in today's society. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they're going for. It's rarely in defense of vulnerable people who have been deplatformed or bullied out of their jobs or positioned of security by those in power. Again, devoid of reality. Devoid of fucking reality. And I'm a military vet. Not my sole purpose, but what drove me was to defend the vulnerable, the deplatformed, the bullied. But it does not mean that I am going to ignore the facts of the situation. But again, feelings over facts for these people. It's always about famous people who've been usually rightfully criticized on Twitter. No, not rightfully. Like, I don't follow Star Wars news. I really don't give a shit about Star Wars news in a sense. But at the same time, I will say Gina Carano did not deserve anything that came directed at her. Anything. She did something in jest, and she's accused of transphobia. That is the state of affairs when it comes to Twitter. Hey, OG Star Wars, good to see you. The thing with Dave Chappelle is that he makes you think with his comedy, and some people don't want to think on your own. Yeah, think. It ain't illegal yet, but they're working on it. Yeah, pretty much. So, again, it's like free speech does not mean you're saying things without consequences. There are always going to be consequences, and like consequences are usually on how people react to what you say. So, free speech just means being able to say what you want to say. And face the consequences or what consequences could happen as a result of what you say. That's free speech. The freedom to say what you want to say, and other people have the freedom to express whether or not they like it or not. Whole point of free speech. Whole fucking point. But they like to twist and manipulate it and deride people for what they say and then cry out whenever they're criticized. But it's free speech. Like, one or the other. One or the other. You just got done with Chappelle's special. I found it quite endearing. Yeah, most people that I've heard who watched it enjoyed it for the most part. Some people enjoyed it more than others, but humor is subjective. There are plenty of comedians I love, and there are plenty of comedians I'm like, they're okay. Not my type of humor, but they're okay. And there are plenty of comedians that I think fucking suck. They happen to be mainly women, but that goes without saying. I kind of agree with Lethal in the sense that women, at least particularly nowadays, really aren't funny. And I think the reason they're not funny is because they try so hard and they don't understand. When I say try so hard, I mean they don't understand the difference between raunchiness and outright crassness. Raunchiness, essentially, is I shouldn't laugh at this, but it's funny. It's dirty, but it's funny sort of situation. Crass and cringe is when they swan dive over that line, and you have stand-up routines like Amy Schumer talking about her hoo-ha for at least half the program and how it's like the entrance to Stranger Things or that upside down in Stranger Things. I don't fucking want to think about that. The fact that we both have hoo-has does not mean that I'm going to find that funny. Does not fucking mean that I'm going to I find that funny. Does not necessarily mean that just because it's dirty doesn't mean it's funny. Who is my favorite comedian? Let's see. If in terms of nowadays, I enjoy. I don't really have particularly ones that I enjoy, but if it falls on my humor, I enjoy them. Like I enjoyed Jim Breuer's stand-ups, Dave Chappelle's stand-ups, George Carlin absolutely loved because he basically. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you are on. It didn't matter what side of the religious spectrum you were on. He went after everyone. So I really very much appreciated that. Let's see. Jeff Dunham. I get a kick out of his ventriloquist stand-up and so forth. Notice how I'm just saying men because I will admit it. More men are funnier than women. More men are funnier than women. And that's because they actually understand what constitutes humor. And that's just my little rant. Somehow she got someone to mate with her. So I don't know. But if I were to narrow it down, probably it'd be those comedians. And the ones that actually are able to take a story that has a little bit of humor and embellish it so that way it's like hilarious, things like that. So, and also dry humor. I enjoyed watching Monty Python a lot. Faulty Towers and things like that. Norm Macdonald, yes, Norm Macdonald. He's fucking funny as hell. And I'm not saying that women can't be funny. They can be funny. They could be funny. Let's put it this way: they could be funny when they weren't reducing the humor down to crassness. Like I said, like Amy Schumer as an example, because you have Catherine O'Hara, Gene Wilder's wife. What's her name? But it's like basically like the female comedians on SNL and SCTV in the 70s and 80s, because like they were actually funny. They just understood humor. Andrea Martin on SCTV along with Catherine O'Hara, like I said. Yeah. So it's I don't understand why. So like that was a segue. That was a segue on my part. It's a little rant on my part, but at the same time, it's like that's why these articles like this just piss me off. When you Google victims of cancel culture, some curious names come up. R. Kelly is mentioned. He has just been found guilty of running an underage sex ring. Well, he's guilty as fuck. You can still listen to his music, but I'm sorry. If he's guilty as fuck, then don't have anything to do with him. I'm not saying the cancel culture and bomb shouldn't necessarily go after him, but just don't have fucking anything to do with them. Just like ignore him, let him go away, and move on. He has not been canceled. He's been charged with various very serious crimes. Yeah, no shit. Woody Allen is also on the list. A man who has been credibly accused of similar heinous acts. After those two, though, we come to the silly ones. Why did you even bother to mention them then? Because they actually, for the most part, I mean, credibly, at least without like actual proof, plausible that they did shit. At least in Woody Allen's case. Madeline Kahn, she was fucking hilarious in Young Frankenstein, and oh my god, loved her. Terry Garr also to a degree, because they understood. Basically, they understood concepts like timing and so forth. They understood that you tell a joke, it has a little shelf life in it. You don't beat it constantly. It's like what these women do in their stand-up routines. I just don't get it. Scarlett Johansson is on the list, having been criticized for taking roles where she played an Asian woman and a trans man, despite the fact that she is neither of those things herself. Well, didn't she like bow out of that because she kind of? Well, I mean, when that whole situation happened, didn't she kind of leave the project or something like that because she's not didn't want to deal with that shit, even though she's an actress and the whole point of being an actor and actress is you fucking play pretend. And the Asian woman was now I haven't seen the anime or the manga, but actually people were saying that she was a good cast. And these people who actually liked the anime and the manga, so I don't know. She defended herself by claiming as an actress she should be allowed to play a tree. Yes, because it's play pretend. Literally, you're getting paid to pretend to be something you're not. The result of this cancellation, 2 Oscar nominations, a starring role in the biggest movie of all time, and an 8-figure payout for Black Widow. Fucking hell. Carol Burnett, very good. I love the Carol Burnett show. I would see clips of that. Noji Star Wars says she doesn't have, I've never had favorite female comedians, and more men are funnier than women. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't explain why psychologically or anything like that. Just it's a fact. More men are funnier than women. Men are just funnier than women. Just accept it and move on. Kevin Hart, stripped of his hosting duties for those very same Oscars after homophobic tweets, also appears. He claims he is a different person now, though he initially refused to apologize for saying he would disown his son if he were gay. But what he did doesn't really matter. He has Netflix specials, documentaries, and movies of his own being consistently released. He has not been canceled. He's still here. Again, it does not necessarily mean you're not a victim of the cancel culture per se. For the record, I have no issue with Johansson and Hart still having a career. Then, again, why the fuck are you even bringing it up? I'm not a Hart fan, but I've seen a lot of Johansson's work, watched Black Widow during its premium release, and still enjoy Johansson in it. I do not want to cancel her. I just want the rest of you to admit she isn't canceled. No one is saying she is. No one is saying she is, was, or will be necessarily. But the fact that she was targeted, much like Gina Carano, much like Kevin Hart was, much like Dave Chappelle is now, does not mean that cancel culture doesn't exist. It just means that they didn't bow to it. It just means that it shows that if you fight back against it, if you don't let it affect you, if you don't bow to it, if you don't pander to it, if you don't apologize to it, you will succeed because more people respect that than the Twitter mobs, because Twitter is not real life. That's what these people fail to realize. Twitter is not real life. And when you don't bow to the Twitter mob, you get more people's respect. That's what they're failing to convey or realize in this article. Then we come to the subcategory of cancel culture victims, better known as people who said a transphobic thing once, were criticized, and decided to make transphobia their whole deal. Ricky Gervais and J.K. Rowling are the two aces in this deck. Chappelle may find himself there very soon. Ricky Gervais, again, kind of like other comedians, doesn't really give a fuck. Humor is subjective. And he wasn't going to bow to the cancel culture mob. He didn't care. He's a comedian. He's going to go after everyone. That's basically the point of comedy and satire and all that shit. J.K. Rowling, she had the audacity to say only biological women can have periods. That's it. That was her biggest sin, which is biologically and irrefutably fact. If cancel culture doesn't work, why do they keep trying to cancel people? Exactly! If it doesn't work, why do they keep doing it? Despite their cancellation, quote-unquote, Gervais and Rowling still have successful careers. Gervais regularly does stand-up specials and has enjoyed success with Afterlife. Gervais seems to relish in his reputation as fodder for material. His shtick when hosting the Golden Globes is to be mean but funny about it. Yeah, he goes after fucking everybody. And after trying to style himself for a decade as a controversial atheist, the trans angle is working for him again. Rowling's commitment to the cause seems more ideological, and she nestles in neatly as a figurehead of middle-class British women who have made hating trans people a major part of their identity. She is more outspokenly anti-trans, far less able to hide behind the guise of jokes, so her career is fine. Again, just had the audacity to say only biological women can have periods. I'm sorry, like, you transition from male to female. Okay, fine. Your pronouns are her and she. You're a female. You look like a female. We'll call you a female. But you are biologically still not one because you don't have the necessary parts to do certain shit. And that's what J.K. Rowling said. Because you have the idiots who refuse to use words like women. Still, her career is fine. She's still releasing books, even if she has surrendered her pen name of Robert Galbraith. It's entirely a coincidence that she chose the same name as one of the architects of conversion therapy. Harry Potter movies are still being made, and a AAA video game in the same universe is set to launch next year. It's big enough to have its own theme park. J.K. Rowling, frequently held up as cancel culture's biggest casualty, has not been canceled at all. You can still be a victim, but survive. That's, again, that does not mean cancel culture does not exist. Finally, we come back to Chappelle. If this is what being canceled is like, I love it. Chappelle said in response to the controversy. But guess what, Dave? It's not. You have not been canceled, even if your fans are telling you that you have been, while they shell out for tickets and buy your DVDs and stream your shows. Okay, first off, I have not seen his Netflix special yet, so are fans telling him that he has been canceled? Hey, Soul Assassin, good to see you. I just called him Sir. Yeah, it's fucking biology. Yeah. A retarded article from the Gamer, pretty much. So, but are his fans doing that? I mean, like, fans, if they're actual genuine fans, are not going to be telling him, "Hey, buddy, you're canceled." No, they're just going to keep buying the tickets and watching his specials. The trans employees who called out Chappelle have actually been canceled. They have been threatened with having their livelihoods taken away on shoddy pretense that circle back to the fact that they criticized one of Netflix's most high-profile stars. No, it's because they fucking broke non-disclosure agreements and shit like that. You fuck up in that regard. Employers don't like that. So again, conveniently leaving out critical details. Conveniently leaving out critical details about why these people were actually suspended. One was fired because they leaked sensitive information. It's not because they voiced disagreements about the Netflix special itself. And hey, Keely, Sporking Raid special is great. I'm going to watch it eventually. The trans community are ones saying he's canceled. Yeah, no one is. No one else is. I have not seen it. Some disclosure. I myself am trans. Who the fuck cares? However, I don't really have a problem with Chappelle's special in itself. Then why the fuck? Why did you spend a majority of this article talking about what the shit you did? I think it crossed the line, but hey, it got laughs. That's his job. If Chappelle got on stage and made jokes about the Nazis being right about the Jews, or if a white comedian made jokes about black people being monkeys, that wouldn't get a laugh. We'd be horrified that people still find ridiculing trans people funny when lobbyists and governments make us more and more vulnerable is a bigger issue than they. I can't even with this person. Again, it crossed the line. It probably shouldn't have ran as a headline show on the world's biggest streaming platform, but editing the show, cutting it entirely, or even canceling Dave Chappelle does not solve this issue. I used to be a Chappelle fan way back in the days of the Chappelle Show. He's a funny guy. That's how he's made millions from comedy. These days, I know not to watch his specials because they punch down too much. Again, humor is subjective. Humor is subjective. You can choose how you react to it. You can choose how you react to it. That's it. There's your freedom right there. If you don't like it, you know how these people say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. They love to tell us that when we complain about certain things infiltrating franchises we love. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Here, you don't like the Netflix special, don't fucking watch it. You don't like his humor, don't fucking watch him. It's that fucking simple. It used to be that simple. I'd watch a show. If I didn't like it, I would stop watching it. If I saw a movie and I didn't like it, I would not watch it again. Music, the same thing. If I don't like a certain genre of music, I'm not going to fucking listen to it. It's that fucking simple. A joke can't hurt you unless you let it. Yes, it can't offend you unless you let yourself be offended. Again, all boils down to if you don't like it, just don't fucking support it. Move on. Spend your money elsewhere. That's it. That's all you have to fucking do. You don't have to go on Twitter. You don't have to push hashtags. You don't have to demand someone be canceled over a stupid fucking joke. How I don't have cirrhosis of the liver from a drinking problem by now, I have no fucking clue. But here it is. Here is where we are, people. He's from an era of comedians who think you have to be upset and offend people to be funny. Well, George Carlin would have a field fucking day with you. Blissfully unaware that the funniest tweet of all time is Drill asking for help budgeting his candles. Who the fuck is that? Can you dust my wets is better than anything most edgy comics have produced in their entire careers. What? What a radical idea. Yeah, what a fucking radical idea. We don't need comedy like this, but so many of you want it. I think Dave Chappelle is like kind of like the... What's that line from the Dark Knight trilogy? The hero we need, but not the one we deserve. Pretty much right now is what they're making him out to be. That won't go away by canceling Dave Chappelle. If those of you who are so keen on free speech, open debate, and the eradication of cancel culture are prepared to stand by while powerless people are punished for criticizing celebrities, though, I don't think you're afraid of cancel culture at all. You're afraid that people might say mean things about rich celebrities whose views align with yours. Snowflakes. Again, conveniently omitting the reason why these people were suspended. The big reasons why these people were suspended had nothing to do with them being upset at the Netflix special, with them being remotely offended by what Dave Chappelle did. What they were suspended fucking for was breaking their non-disclosure agreements, to include leaking private and sensitive information. I'm sorry, in the real world, when you fuck up like that, you face the consequences, and in this case, they were suspended. One was outright fired. The one who leaked the shit has been fired. That news broke not that long ago. If that was the funniest tweet of all time, then why haven't I never heard it? Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, that's heavy projection. Yeah, exactly. It's heavy projection. So all I can fucking do is this and wonder how humanity has survived for as long as it has. Generations before us, the ones who actually broke their backs, bled, and so forth to build up this country are looking at this goes like the greatest generation, looking at this going, we fucking fought on 2 continents for this? Only for our grandchildren, great-grandchildren to be offended when they're fucking misgendered? Seriously. This is how Rome fell, pretty much. Pretty fucking much. Yeah, they should be happy they got fired and not sued to hell. They couldn't, because that person who leaked the private stuff could be fucking sued. That's a case against them. They're fucking lucky they were just fired. The funniest joke ever, I would be a stand-up comedian, but I like to sit down too much. That is a dad joke, but that is funny. So. But there it is. There it is. So. Again, more retarded shit from the gamer. So. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. And you have, I'm not gonna go into this article. But you know how they like to pander to the LGBTQ demographic as if it's a monolith? I'm not going to go into this article, but look, a new study suggests woke culture and pandering has had limited impact on LGBT mental health and suicide rates. So for all the pandering, for all the gender swapping, race swapping, sexuality swapping of characters so these people could see themselves on page or on screen, has limited effect. Oh, the fucking irony. Just wondering when the asteroid's going to come blow us all up. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if one killed the dinosaurs, you figure like one's going to come back around again and wipe us out too, or most of humanity. But look at that. Not going to go into this article, but like new studies suggest woke culture and pandering limited impact on the mental health and suicide rates. But yet they keep doing this shit. They keep doing this shit. So there's that. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to go into the articles two of the articles that I saw. Actually, no, one is on the gamer again. I forgot. One is on the gamer. God, the gamer is like vying for most retarded site ever. Where is it? God, there's so much retarded shit. Oh, here it is. I have DC Comics in the title. Here you go. Superman and Robin coming out is a huge win for bisexual representation. Limited impact, yet they still do it. Yep. They need to change their name. They do. It's a huge win for bisexual representation. I cover an article not too long ago where like animation was a huge win for representation. Like now it's them coming out as a huge win for representation, even though it's not them necessarily coming out. It's DC Comics flipping their sexuality and taking characters that were never established as being bisexual and for purely political reasons and socio-political agendas doing this shit. So I'm not going to go entirely into this article, but Tom Taylor said, "I've always said everyone needs heroes and everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes, and I'm very grateful DC and Warner Brothers share this idea. Everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes." To a degree, I agree with that, because no one has any right to tell anybody who they can and cannot empathize with. But at the same time, when they say see themselves in a character, it only goes skin deep. Gender, skin color, and sexuality, and so forth. I have yet to see a half European, half Middle Eastern woman on page or screen who is an Air Force military vet, psychology major, going back to school for her teaching degree, has a pet black dog that's a lab pit bull mix, who loves comics and fantasy and gaming and so forth. I have yet to see anybody reflect me on screen. But yet, on the surface I mean, but yet, there are a lot of characters I empathize with and can see myself in, because I realize I am more than just my physical features and what's between my legs. When I used to watch The Walking Dead, two of my favorite characters were Daryl and Michonne, and granted, I don't look in a mirror that often, but I'm not a man and I'm not a black woman. But I empathized with those characters because I liked how they were developed. I could see some of myself in those characters. Looked nothing like me. But doesn't matter to these people, because when they say everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes, that only goes for you, like Trey Courtney, for example, that only goes as far as the fact that you're a black man. For OG Star Wars, that only goes as far as the fact that she's a Native American woman. And anybody who's Hispanic in the chat, it only goes as far as like you of your Hispanic heritage. That's it. That's it. Nothing else matters about you to these people. Thank you for the compliment. Look, because you're gorgeous. Yeah. But there it is. Again, like, they were saying, like, animation or some shit was a win for bisexual representation. Now they're saying this is a win. Soul Assassin says, I'm Hispanic. I like Batman and I'm Hispanic. Yes. He is not a white. He's not white. He's Hispanic. But he loves Batman. He loves Bruce Wayne. One of my favorite Green Lanterns is John Stewart. I'm not a black man, but I like the character. And last I checked, liking Superman, even though I'm not Kryptonian, is perfectly fucking fine. Liking Wonder Woman, even though I'm not an Amazon, it's perfectly fucking fine. Doesn't matter what the character looks like or the sexuality. Yeah, it's more emotion than physical. Yeah, but like these people, it's just purely physical. And that's what they're going off of. And the fact that you have them taking Jonathan Kent, son of Clark Kent, and Lois Lane coming out as bisexual out of the fucking blue, purely for political and socio-political agendas, is a win. Pandering is a win. And we would be just, and people who are saying, oh, you're just upset because, like, the fact that he's bisexual and things like that, you just don't like LGBTQ people. We would be just as upset. I would imagine we would be just as upset if Batwoman, her entire comic run, she's a lesbian. Entire comic run, nobody cared because she's a good character. Overall, she's a good character who happens to be a lesbian. We would be just as upset if all of a sudden flip the script and now she's only into dudes. No fucking reason whatsoever. She just craves dick now. We would be just upset because we would be like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? You have her established as this, basically sexuality. It's not entirely her character, but we know her, that's her sexuality as part of her character. And when you have her all of a sudden prefer men and solely men, we would be complaining and like wondering just as much like where the fuck this is coming from. So it doesn't matter which direction it goes. Straight to gay or bisexual or whatever the fuck it is, or LGBTQ to straight. It doesn't fucking matter. If it comes out of the blue and it's not previously established within the character itself, and I say within, not a major part, but as a fraction of their character, which makes them up the whole, we would be just as complaining just as much. I love that joke. Yeah. So there it is. And Superman isn't just the most powerful Caped Crusader, he's a household name, a legend even your Nan knows about. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's bisexual icon trailblazing through the sky. Fucking hell. Superman writer Tom Taylor, along with Batman author Megan Fitzman, who wrote Robin as bisexual, of fucking course, have opened a door that has never been opened. It has never been opened because it's never been previously established. If basically the comics run had at least fucking hinted that that's where they were going, so this wouldn't be a revelation. It would be basically a fitting conclusion to an already established arc within the character. But it came out of fucking nowhere just to pander for National Coming Out Day. That's fucking it. No, like, nowhere did they give any indication that this is where this character was going. No, all of a sudden he likes dick as well. What? No kind of natural progression in the series to reflect that. No, just one book, one like and there's that's it. He's bisexual. Comic book characters coming out as queer is nothing new. Like I said, we would be just as upset if Batwoman, Kate Kane, all of a sudden craved just dick, even though she's a lesbian. No, we would be just as confused and upset if that came out of nowhere. Comic book characters coming out, okay, nothing new, and we've seen it time and again to the same rigmarole of backlash and hatred. No! Again! Fucking again! Batwoman! It kind of was a waste of time. There at least to a degree, there were some things where I was like, oh, that's interesting, and so forth, but yeah, it was only 4 hours this time, and no schedule, so, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to say it was a waste of time, but, like, a lot of it was just, could have been done better, and I wish, like I said, I wish they had done a schedule. Yeah, so here it is. I'm not going to go entirely because we know this is basically the situation that happens with Jonathan Kent and how Tim Drake all of a sudden came out as bisexual, even though he like never previously established and everything like that. So, the game. I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights. I'm really looking forward to Gotham Knights. I think I want to see gameplay. I want to see more gameplay. I'm hoping to see another trailer. They only showed a cinematic one during DC Fandom. I mean, I want to see the characters actually fighting so I can see like what their moves are going to be like. Chances are I'm going to play as Nightwing. I love Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson to me is like Robin to me, like my Robin, and then like he became Nightwing, so I'll probably be playing as him. Suicide Squad game looked okay, but again, I want to see actual not just like the graphics, but like the controls and so forth, and like what to expect. So I'm looking forward to the Batman movie. And they saved that to the end, of course, to force you to watch the entire thing. So there's that. So like basically those are like big things I watched when I watched DC Fandom. But I'm still on the fence about whether or not Gotham Knights is going to be like a day one purchase for me until I see what is actually going to be happening with the game. Trey Quentin says Suicide Squad game looks better than the recent movie. I think for the most part it does. Again, I want to see gameplay, but at the same time, like I was saying, delete the lightning. Just the little bit of like what I saw of King Shark and him actually speaking coherent English shows like pisses me off to no end again about what they did to him in the Suicide Squad movie. So hey Steven, good to see you. Core Vals is what intrigues me about the Gotham Knights game. So but I want to see, because it basically like leads to the speculation of like if Bruce Wayne is actually dead, or if he's become a Talon, or if he's infiltrated the Court of Owls to take them down. So sort of situation. So it's piqued my interest. But like again, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see like actually like what to expect. Of course I do. I would say who wouldn't, but goes without saying. Anyway, so there's that. So let me open the one that's on Bounding into Comics. Again, DC Comics related, in a sense. You all will love this if you haven't seen the picture going around on Twitter. And DC Comics actually fucking has this. Actually put it in there. Here you go. Look at that. DC Comics debuts new trans OMAC in final issue of Superman and the Authority. Take it in, people. Take it in. Continuing in their obsession with using the legacy identities of their superheroes as cheap attempts at rainbow marketing, as seen in their recent confirmations that both Tim Drake and John Kent are sexually and romantically interested in men, DC Comics has now introduced a new transgender version of OMAC in their current comic continuity. All right? Gives Abby a run for her money, doesn't it? First seen on the covers 2 and briefly in the 3rd issue of Grant Morrison's recently concluded Superman and the Authority, the new OMAC makes his full debut in the miniseries' final issue, wherein he can be seen lashing out at Apollo out of the mistaken belief that the solar-powered hero has had a hand in the disappearance of his girlfriend, Leah Nelson, better known as the new female incarnation of the new god Lightray. What in tarnation is this? Yep. The fuck? Super gay. Yep. And like I said, take it in. And these people, when I say these people, I mean DC Comics and Marvel also, wonder why anime and manga is kicking their fucking asses. Jacob says, I like Blade and Spawn and I'm white. Yes, it... But according to these people, you you can't, because you can only see you have to be like a character where you can see yourself in that character, and since you're white and you're not black, you can't like Blade and Spawn. That's the retarded level of mentality these people have. Ultimately, after discovering Eclipso was responsible for Light Ray's disappearance and putting an end to the machinations of the villain's handler, the Ultra Humanite, Light Ray is invited to join Superman's authority team. Yet before accepting his invitation, Light Ray informs the Man of Steel that she and OMAC are a package deal, stating that wherever she goes, her pink-haired companion goes as well. Yeah, you tell that toxic masculinity off. Before he's even had a chance to oblige Light Ray's condition, the Man of Steel is soon met with an overtly defensive and insecure rundown of their relationship from OMAC, all of which concludes in the vocal declaration of their own fucking personal pronouns. Watch this, people. Me and she were mac and cheese, stars and stripes, cops and protesters, laws and outlaws. The transgender superhero says to Superman, where she goes, I'm there, pronouns he, him, they. Right? Where's the picture? Is there a picture? Hold on, where is it on this? Right here. He, him, they. Right there. Where she goes, I'm there, pronouns he, him, they. On the left. Top left. DC Comics actually put this fucking shit in a book. Actually telling Superman, not only having the audacity to say this shit to Superman, the Man of fucking Steel, but putting their personal pronouns, actually stating their personal pronouns to him. I'm sure he's opening the vodka. Katsuga's like, Nani? This is some bullshit. Yeah, make it stop. I can't. Yeah. As of writing, little is known about Morris and this new OMAC, including whether they share indirect relations to either the original one-man Army Corps iteration of the character created by Jack Kirby, the Omni-Mind and community drones created by Batman's brother Eye-Shield, the now depowered one machine attack construct version seen briefly in the New 52, or even the OMAC concept as a whole. However, it does appear that the new OMAC's design does make use of various imagery seen across the character's various depictions, including a circular red chest symbol and forehead markings reminiscent of Kirby's classical eye icon. So what do you make of Morrison's new OMAC? Again, these people right here have the fucking nerve to act surprised when anime and manga kick their asses. Dropping so many M-bobs right now. Actually had OMAC, the character OMAC, deride Superman, Man of Steel, and say what their pronouns are. What's going to happen when OMAC gets his ass kicked? Phobia? Yeah, it's going to... They don't think about this shit. If OMAC at all gets beaten up in a comic strip, is that transphobia? Do they even fucking think about that? That's why you don't pander to... That's why you don't pander to this group. Abby now has a run for her money. OMAC smash. There you have it, people. Pronouns he, him, and they. And make sure you don't misgender that walking behemoth. So there you go. All right. Now that, okay, I've talked about the retardedness of the gamer with Squid Games and the Dave Chappelle special and the retardedness of DC Comics, let's talk about a little bit of retardedness happening with Halo. Season 8 of Halo, Master Chief Collection, Halo Reach. All right? So it's on Bounty in the comics as well. So let me find that article. for anybody who plays the Master Chief Collection, which Halo was my go-to when I used to play on the Xbox. I would love to have an Xbox again so I could play just so I could play Halo, because that is like I said, my go-to multiplayer. But here you go, people. If you're looking forward to Season 8, this is what they're changing. It's not as retarded as the other articles, but it's eye-roll inducing, to say the least, in my opinion. Here you go, people. 343 Industries to reportedly replace Halo Reach gender options with body type in upcoming Halo the Master Chief Collection Season 8. So, I don't know how that works. So, is it like preferring pear-shaped, apple-shaped, hourglass? I mean, how is that going to work? Like, are you gonna be able to, like, make your Spartans fat? Like, do you have like one of those like bars you can scroll like thin to fat or whatever, muscular to thin, or or scrawny or whatever you want to do? Is that how it's gonna work? I mean, I thought it was just basically just pick. And plus, it's Master Chief. They're in armor. You don't fucking know how, like, it's like, it doesn't matter what's underneath the armor. Master Chief is a rank. It could be male or female. It doesn't fucking matter. So Fat Spartan's great. Yeah. So 343 Industries will reportedly be removing the option to select one's gender from the Master Chief Collection edition of Halo Reach, as the developer is apparently set to replace the currently available male and female customization options with heavy and light armor, respectively. So that's what they're going with. So basically, it's a heavy armor male and the light armor female. Just curious. This upcoming removal of gender options was first brought to public attention by on subreddits, who first discovered the change courtesy of an update to the official Halopedia entry for Halo the Master Chief Collection's upcoming 8th season of multiplayer content, subtitled Mythic. According to the newly updated information upon the season's start on October 13th, gender selection will be renamed to body type, and general gender terms changed to heavy armor, formerly male, and light armor, formerly female. And fucking keep it as male and female. But it's gonna be body type M and body type F, male. Yeah, still dumb nonetheless. Basically, it's like, who cares? Don't you like love how like we went through years, and I mean years, of like this not mattering? It's like when I did the video on what they're doing with the Lord of the Rings show, and how they're trying to make it look like something like the complaints for lack of diversity has been going on for years, when it never fucking happened until like 2 years ago, if that. So those movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, went for 20 fucking years. No complaints. It's like this. No fucking complaints whatsoever. And now, all of a sudden, it's been a fucking issue. The fucking irony. So people want to be able to choose their gender in real life, but not in a video game. The fucking irony. Halopedia also noted that voice selection options would no longer be limited to the body type, thus allowing either body type to make use of any of the various male and female voices provided for players to choose from. So you could have heavy armor with a high-pitched voice. Just pretty much call it Abby. Even though Abby didn't really have a high-pitched voice. I'm going to pretty much just call it Abby. Yep, pandering to the 0.001% crowd again. Yeah. In Halo Reach, players are encouraged to create a custom character built from a number of available options, including species, human versus elite, armor appearance, and voice for use in the game's multiplayer modes. However, these differences in gender customization offer no effect on gameplay outside of aesthetic personalization. In fact, the differing armor sizes for the male and female Spartans even feature the exact same hitboxes. Really, okay, to be perfectly honest with you, even though I know the one on the right would be like more of a female shape, other than like the thinner nature of the build, it could still be a fucking man. I mean, who, male or female? It doesn't matter. It's Master Chief. It's a rank. It's a rank. That's all it fucking is. It's not a name. It's not a gender. It's not a sexuality. It's a rank. So who the fuck cares? In an official blog post discovering some of the upcoming Season 8 changes, the 343 Industries Community Support and Engagement Coordinator, known as Postums, noted that the incoming content would also include a Halo Reach firefight update to include firefight voice previews, more granular body type, and voice. However, Postums did not specify what exactly this change meant, though many assumed it to be either the decoupling of voices from specific gender types or the general removal of gender altogether. YouTuber Vara Dark of Dark Titan Enterprises reacted to this news, stating, "This is absolutely ridiculous. Companies do these things thinking it's going to get them more attention and they're going to get more money, but the opposite always happens." The Barbra Streisand effect. Because people don't want to be pandered to. They just want good games. Not getting a female read on that figure. It's except for the fact that it was thinner, not much fucking different. So, for all we know, the big one could be the female. It doesn't fucking matter. Keep it as male and female. And then just, you know what they could have just simply done? Leave the option as male and female gender, and then have them, they want to be able to customize their body types, have that option there. You didn't have to get rid of gender altogether. You could say, hey, I want to be a female, and I want to be a little bit curvy, or I want to be a little like straighter build, or I want to be a male, but I don't want to be as big. I mean, shit like that. I mean, fucking Sims could do that shit. Remember, like those PC games, if they can figure out a way to do that shit, Halo can figure out a way to do that fucking shit. If that truly mattered, but it doesn't. It's a multiplayer shooter game for the most part, even though there is a campaign to it. It's a multiplayer for the most part. Once you create a character, all you care about is shooting shit and not dying. You don't care about what's between the legs of a armored soldier who only goes by Master Chief. She continued, they are not making these changes because they want to be inclusive or diverse. They are changing things like this so that they are uncancelable. They are changing their companies and their products so no one can say, look at how terrible they are. It's pandering 101. So what do you make of their customization? So what do you make of this? Again, I used to play Halo. I don't have a PC and I don't have an Xbox as of yet. If I had an Xbox, I would be playing the fuck out of Halo. But this makes me take a step back and pause. Like, do I want to, like, at the end of the day, I will admit that I would still purchase Halo Infinite. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite in that regards. But at the same time, this makes me pause and cringe because nothing about this is integral to the story. Nothing about this will at all affect the gameplay. You choosing one armor type over the other or one gender over the other is not going to change the story itself. It's not going to change the multiplayer angle. It's not going to do anything. It only changes how your character looks. And you don't even fucking see your character after you create it. From what I remember from Halo, it was first-person shooter. You don't even fucking see it. So why does it fucking matter? First-person shooter angle, which means it's from your perspective. You don't see your character at all. So why do you even remotely have to put that much effort into what your character looks like if you don't even see it? Ahmed says Halo's been losing its edge for years. Tomorrow V says I still think they need dwarves and giants to be inclusive, along with gigantic people who have trouble getting through alien ship doors. Yes, basically you get to have them hidden in their heads and so forth to like show how what is it being how I put it heightest the game is, or whatever doors are, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. The game is focused on shooting bad guys. You don't even see your that's what I said. You don't even fucking see your avatar. Once you go through all this shit, you don't even see yourself. If it was third person and you wanted to kind of put your own little customization, your own little spin on your character, I could see that in a way. I could see that. Because you kind of want to make yourself stand out. You want to like create it around like what your when I say preferences, I mean in terms of like armor and so forth, color and everything look like. But once you go through this and you start playing it, you don't see it. So again, it doesn't make any fucking difference. The irony is games and comics already have plenty of diversity and inclusion, and all these woke changes are not as new and progressive as the game. Yeah, they're not. They're not bold and brave. They're not being brilliant. There's nothing new. It's been done before, but it's been done in a way where it made sense to a character. It made sense to a storyline. It made sense to an overall arc. Because it actually was a natural progression. It wasn't, oh, let's take how many decades of this character being super straight and now make, like, say, Tim Drake or John Kent, make them also crave dick. I don't know. I don't get it. Don't fucking get it. But anyway, those are the articles. We normally go for about 2 hours, and we're just about at the 2-hour mark, and those are the articles I had to cover. Like I said, the last one, certainly cringe, certainly pretty much borderline retarded, but it's like eye roll, not as retarded as the other articles, like more eye rolling, more like, oh great, here we go again, putting shit where it doesn't need to be done and so forth. So I want to thank everyone for showing up. I want to thank Lethal Lightning again for jumping in for at least a Squid Game article. So hopefully things will be back to their regular schedule, normal next week. It should be on Steph's channel. Her channel is My Nerdy Home. So unless anything changes, we're trying to, again, with this time of year, it's really difficult to pin down availability and so forth, but we generally switch off. So it'll be on her channel next week. Tomorrow, you should see me on Lethal Lightning's channel talking about Demon Slayer Season 2, Episode 2, and then right after that, stream on Mark the Cyborg's channel with KJ talking about Episodes 5, 6, and 7 of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. And Twitch, Jade_Fire, playing Mario Kart on Mondays, Splitgate on Tuesdays, Resident Evil 7 on Thursdays, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Saturdays. That's the Twitch schedule, as well as making videos. So, inevitably there's going to be cringe. There's going to be pop culture news that's both good and bad, but most of them has been bad and cringe. And if it's cringe, if it needs roasting, you can be rest assured that Steph and I will roast the shit out of it, and we'll give our whammon perspectives on the stupidity of casual misogyny and third wave feminism and the state of DC Comics and Marvel Comics and so forth. So, your birthday is the day after Halloween. Nice, Jacob. All right, so thank you to everyone who sent super stickers and super chats. Again, thank you to Lethal Lightning. Thank you to everyone who showed up and contributed in the chat their own opinions. I also want to thank everybody for showing up to my stream last night, talking about top our top 10 subjective list for horror movies. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, I left it live for people to go back and get our takes on what movies made the top 10. And which was a fun discussion stream. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something like that again, another top 10 movie list. So look for that in the future for myself, my guest, Steve Kenobi, and anybody else who wants to join. So, again, Jade_Fire for Twitch. Next week will be on my Nerdy Homes channel. Lethal Lightning is a casual misogynist, and I will see you all later. So, take care.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.